I think you ought to tell me who you are first.
Why?
Won't you tell us all about it?
Start at the beginning.
Yeah. And when you come to the end, stop.
A very merry birthday to me.
To you.
A very merry birthday for me.
For you. Now blow the candle out, my dear, and make your wish come true.
A very merry birthday for me. Yay! Isn't that amazing? We I think deserve some claps on that. What do you think, sis? I think so. Yes, jazz hands. Yes, you guys, welcome back to a new episode of the Shelz and Cheez podcast live show. I am your hostess, Kay Renee, and along riding on this train with me on the other side of the situationship of the front passenger seat is the cupcake. That's Amanda A.
The cupcake.
Yes, it's Amanda A. is the cupcake.
And
so
Merry
you guys,
birthday to you. Merry on birthday with your curly curls.
to me, yes. You know what? It's kind of giving Medusa a little bit, right? Yeah, the little spiral out, yeah, and it didn't take much. It was like just flip your hair upwards from the back and put like a little thingy inside, and voila, you have like a whole awesome sauce style, and I love it, and it's giving what needs to be given. So yeah, you guys, welcome back. We are here. We're doing it tonight for you guys, or in the morning or afternoon, whatever time you all, happen to catch it, because, it's recording and, we're not really here, but we're here for you whenever you have a moment to stop on by and make sure that you, again, like and subscribe to the channel so that you can be alerted. Now, we are doing something very special tonight for you guys, because, again, as we started off with that wonderful song, it was basically, within no other way of being able to start this show, because it is my unbirthday, but it's going to be my real birthday, which is coming up in another, 2 weeks, I guess. It's what we can say. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yes, wow. Yes, 2 weeks. So being that, of course, we're doing an unbirthday show, and it is special for me. And I brought cake of my own that I actually made. Yes. You see that pop of
You
that.
have to make your own cake. Someday when we live close together, I will make you cake on your birthday.
Yeah, man. So yeah, happy early birthday to me. Oh, that's good. It's good when you can say your own things are really good. That is a lavender vanilla pound cake that I have basically created as a new something to help with my business. And we are doing one of my all-time favorite movies. And I think this has been one of my all-time favorite movies since I was a child. Before I met the cupcake, when Laserdisc was out and there wasn't VHS tapes. Yeah. And my parents would, of course, rent me my choice of movies. And it was always the Muppet movie. And I love the Muppet movies. Those are classics. And also this one here, which is a classic for me. And it kind of really sucks that I couldn't get the picture that I really wanted to get for this movie. But Alice in Flippin' Wonderland. Okay. You guys thought I was going to curse.
Put up your movie. We got a movie.
Yeah, we have our movie. Now, look at the cupcake. The Cupcakes movie is the original. That's the
Oh, and it's
original
a little bit
cover.
beat up because I took it to college with me and I kind of lent it out. So we're lucky it's still here.
Yeah. Okay. And that it still works in that thing called a VCR machine. Okay, children.
Totally, totally does.
Yeah.
I watched it twice today.
Yeah. And this is how I get down James Brown with it as well, because I have an old school room and I have the Masterpiece Collection version of this. And
Which is
it's
pretty. I like purple.
obviously,
Purple, nice.
yeah. Yeah. And it's you can tell, when Disney re-releases things, how they re-release certain music and put it on like a different copy or masterpiece version
Mhm.
of it. Yeah, they just try to elevate it a little bit, but it still gives the same concept. And it's one of those movies, as I'm gonna pretty much just put myself out there real quick, Cupcake. It was my go-to movie as a very young adult, especially in my little elevation days.
Right. Totally.
It's a very feel-good movie.
Will
And
ensure a good trip.
exactly.
Positive. It'll put you on the positive if you got a little on the negative.
Yes, and you had to steer yourself back around and
Right.
and refine yourself. Yes. The silliness of it all for me, and me watching this as a child said a lot for me as a child, as a very young child with imagination. And for me to still lock into this movie 40 something, years later, like it still holds the value. And to this day that I will never ever get tired of watching it. So, it for me, it gives me really good vibes of the old school good days because it always put me in a happy place. And the type of little, life that I grew up in as a child, it was some very rough times. And this was kind of like a teddy bear for me to basically give me comfort and to go into a world that was never real, but it was just as the wonder that if it could be real, how awesome would that be? Like that was always my take on it. How did you when did you look at it as your first time watching it, Cupcake?
I don't remember specifically because I feel like it was always there.
Mm-hmm.
It came out in 1951, which is like the year before my mother was born. So
Okay.
literally been around so forever in our world. And I know when I was little, we had the Disney Channel. Like
Mhm.
not later on, we didn't have anything like that because we got really like poor. But we had the Disney Channel when I was little, and I that's probably where I saw it first, I would think. And that was
Okay.
when I was about 6 or 7 was
Mhm.
probably the time I saw it. And yeah, it's just the way Disney did it. Like I know the story is like it's very old. It's been around since like mid 19th century. But the
Yeah.
Disney version is very appealing to children. Like the bright colors, the very primary colors. Yeah, it's not very naturalistic. It's very like
Mhm.
stylized and as far as the backgrounds and stuff, which is cool. Like kids like that. And yeah, it was very graphic and fun. They tried to make it joyful looking. And
Yeah.
Alice was relatable. She was the only one that was, I think, relatable. Maybe there was a couple others, but she didn't have that like hourglass figure. She wasn't like a woman. She was a child. So that
Yeah.
was that was what as kids we could relate to her as being a child rather than some princess.
Yes, very relatable as a child, as within the age that which she seemed to have been, as to why I think as a child watching this, I was really, I definitely related to her. And the factor of having an older sister as well. And with her being here with her older sister,
I always wanted an older sister, so I think I admired that. Like I always just like really wanted an older sister so bad when I was
Yeah.
little. I mean, I don't really care now, I guess, but
Nah, it's overrated, man. Don't fucking worry about it. Like it's definitely it's definitely overrated. And
I think it's a mixed bag, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, my older sister at times where depending on which one I was dealing with, because she's a Gemini, but the wrong Gemini, it was just like I've been chased with scissors around the house, a knife around the house. I've been asked to go and get donations for money to have my mom go grocery shopping because she didn't, only to have her to have the money. So yeah, I've had off balance times with my older sister.
Yeah,
so at times
mental illness is to be a bit of a monkey wrench.
just a little bit. Okay. So yeah. So for me, there were times that, where usually that younger sister would want to tag along with the older one. Not me. I was like, you are going out. That's awesome. Now I can watch the TV and my movies, to myself, because being that younger sister, I had to have that imagination and to be able to be okay entertaining myself. Back then it wasn't
a big gap. Like Alice is supposed to be, I think, about 10 years old.
Okay.
Prepubescent, 10. And her sister is like, you get the idea her sister's at least 17, 18.
Yeah, she looks very
probably about to get married, like that age where she's courting and stuff, and she's just like, oh, so above all this.
They're gonna give her away soon anyway to some guy, some random family name, Sir Davis Isaacs or whatever, to the fifth power. But yeah, she's teaching her history lesson. Like, so look at the schooling back then. Like, we're just out here hanging out. She's up on the freaking tree trunk. Like, will you kindly pay attention? And she's like, nah, I want to make a little flower wreath for my cat up here, Dinah, because Dinah loves it up here. And I do too. And I'm not really listening to this story. I don't really like this story. So, she's just in her own little world of wonder, and it's funny because looking at this, how I love to just dissect everything as I am older, but it's like everything that she had encountered just in her little, falling asleep, being in the grass, the sunflowers, the daisies, meaning, that was all of what she ran into later.
Yeah, it's kind of like how the things that happen in your day will show up in your dreams. Like, there's suggesting that it's a dream, or
Yes. And again, and I hate to bring it up, but I have to, because another favorite of mine, which is Wizard of Oz, and it gives me still those vibes of how this starts off, in the fact that Dorothy, not more so in a world of wonder, but she just, it was Miss Gulch, and she was the problem as the issue for Toto. But then getting knocked out, to the point it put her in a whole nother land because she was asleep, unconscious. And Alice, she takes a nap and goes into a whole nother land. But
and what's also interesting that's in common between these two movies is they're both like not really children's stories. Like they're both use this like little girl as kind of like a way to like pose as a children's story while it's really talking about political and social things.
And baiting you in, giving you Epstein vibes.
The authors were tricky. They're like, oh, this is a children's book. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How Disney likes to camouflage a lot of their storylines, which is not for children. But if we animate it and make it into a cartoon, it will attract the children, where kids aren't catching on to the actual storyline. For a majority, they're just like, it's a cartoon movie, and then to really study through to know that there's a lot of different underlining meanings and subliminal messages going on. You're like, oh, wait a minute. Were we supposed to watch this as this age? Like that?
Like the painting the rose red, the kids are just like,
yes.
But they don't know it's about like the War of the Roses, and it's like the most violent war in history, and like, they don't know about all that, and that's fine.
As the red paint's dripping off of the roses like blood.
That's supposed to be some violence.
Exactly. So this guy, which we're going to use this for a moment, because the way that Google was trying to treat me today, honey, with me getting my images, I was like, what the hell is going on? So this tweaked out dude, this guy is done. Like, he's, first of all, okay, so, basically, let me walk y'all down this road. Alice, again, as we looked at her, she's out there with her sister. She's not paying attention. She ain't going through the factor of the book. She don't like the book. She don't like the story. But in her world, there would be nothing but pictures. And so as she takes a nap, she falls into this wonderland of things and people, of characters that tend to be the like unnecessary or not unnecessary, but the nonsense world of characters. And so therefore, in the midst where I guess she thinks she's awake and back in the real world, she technically is not. And this is the thing that strikes her fancy, is this white tweaked out rabbit with these red, oh my God, bloodshot eyes with a pocket watch, an umbrella. He's got a waistcoat on, people. Are you all looking at this? Glasses. His nose match his eyes. And he's got this thing to his ear like it's a radio. Like, is this shit ticking or it's not ticking?
It's a boom box. He's like, and it looks like it weighs half of his weight. It's huge.
It's huge, man. And those hands, I'm surprised they're holding it up. But anyway, he's in a frantic mess and he's late. And here's the shit. You don't even know what he's late for. Like, he never talks about it. He's just constantly running through and letting you know he's really in a stew. No time to say hello, but goodbye. I'm late. And she's like, oh, yo, hold up, Mr. Rabbit. Like, where are you going? And he's like, I don't got even time to talk because I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? So he's out of here. So with all that being said, she's like, well, let me go ahead and try to see if I can catch up, find him. You know what I mean? Like, see where he's going. Only to find herself to fall into this, which she went through the hole. Okay. She went through this hole, this rabbit hole.
The earth, apparently.
Yeah. But going down a rabbit hole, it's so wild because of the meanings of everything that's going on in this movie. It's like you're falling down this rabbit hole of things of curiosity, and where will it lead you? Like, just things in life, and for children to fall through the world of curiosity of where it leads them sometimes is to what? Trouble at times. Not always a good situation of a vibe of what's going on. So
at the time this was written, I'm sorry. At the time this was written in Victorian England, the stuff they were teaching their kids is really like dry. Like the school was a bummer. Like they were not allowed to like ask questions. They weren't having any fun. It was like they were just told stuff. So this whole thing to have like creative thoughts and like nonsense, like that was a big deal. Like that was not allowed. Children were not encouraged to like engage in nonsense, basically. So this was very rebellious at the time. At the time, it was for children to just like do, make things up,
Right. Yeah, man. And so, as I said, she's going down the rabbit hole. She's going down to the point of even flipping upside down. And to her wonder surprise, where does she land? Well, she lands down at the bottom. Down to the bottom of where we have a door with a talking doorknob on top of that. And I think this guy is also like beyond his mind because of the fact that he's full of He's just like, it's locked, and she's like, okay, well, unlock yourself. And he's like, yep, can't do that. There's a whole key up there, and you left it. And there was no goddamn key, because when she fell through, all she fell through was just emptiness of space, a rocking chair, like kind of like a floating setup of a living room, if you will. Like everything was just pretty much kind of spaced out and all over the place, right? So with that being said, it was just like, okay, now he's tricking her mind out. Like, yeah, you left the key up there on the table. So now this magic table appears, and she's like, well, shit, I didn't even see that. So like now she's like, okay, well, I don't even know how I'm gonna get this whole key or whatever. But no, she gets the key. Of course, she gets the key because she's within the height to get the key. But the factor of where she has to basically fit through the door, she's too big. Can't fit through.
Yeah.
So
It's never like the Kool-Aid and the sugar at the same time.
Never.
Why you always got cereal, no milk? Why you always got Kool-Aid, no sugar? That's what she's dealing with.
Yes, and this guy is like, I forgot to tell you. Like, dude, you know all of the rules in here because this is your in place. Like, it's not no, you forgot. I think you think it's hilarious and it's funny, and I don't appreciate this because you're stressing me out. And the same token that we still have to remember, she's chasing after a white rabbit with a freaking pocket watch and a fucking umbrella, and we don't know where he's going and don't even know where he is. But he went through that door. He fit just fine because that's his way to get where he needs to get to. He knows the doorknob guy. You know what I mean? They're friends. And he opens his big mouth like, so she's like,
knows the path. Yeah.
So, of course, the fact that she had to get big again because she left the goddamn the key. Then the fact that the tears came.
Yeah, she's upset now.
Yeah, the bottle was everything. The bottle.
Oh. How you do that? Are you gargling?
I don't know. I just threw my voice around a little bit to try to make it sound like he was drowning. Did I get it?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, that was a little scary.
He said, oh. Well, that's a surprise. Like that's inside the cereal box when you get down to the bottom. Like, well, there's the little sticky sticker thing that they had said we could get for free. Yeah. So she's drowning him out, but she happens to float through his mouth. That's weird too. She float through the mouth, gets over into this other side where it just gets crazier because it's people, not people, but animals like birds and stuff rowing in boats with Dodo, the bird that is leading a dodo bird that's leading the fish and other little things of animals to run around a little fire pit that he actually has the whole fire to himself so that everyone's trying to get dry. And they're trying to get dry, running around the area of where the sand is, where the water keeps washing onto the shore, like within to get them wet again. And so nobody's getting dry. Like no one's.
And you know what it's giving? It's giving like Dodo is giving like politician, like generic politician. Like he's like he's by the fire, he's cool, but he's like telling everybody this bullshit, Like telling everyone in their will. It's like telling the commoners, work harder, but they never get ahead. That's to me, that's what it is. And of course he's played by an extinct bird. So I think the commentary is like this political thinking is extinct. It needs to go. It needs to evolve.
I say you'll never get dry that way. Like, you're right. If you have the whole fire up there with you, I'm as dry as a bone because you have the whole fire pit up there with you, dude. Do you notice he picks it up when the water washes over again? So it doesn't go out, like, no, this is for me. How do you pick that goddamn on fire? Anywho, so she's tired of running around.
Yeah, because he's evil.
Yeah.
Fire don't hurt evil.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, let's keep it moving, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna get out this little rat race because I know better to keep running around in a circle, especially with animals that I don't think should be trying to get dry, but that's a whole nother story. So she runs, away and trying to again, she's in the chase for the hunt of the rabbit, but then she runs into these dudes, which are just out of control and out of pocket. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. What say you? These two made me they stressed me out.
Yeah, they're annoying. They remind me of like the neighbor kids at the bus stop. Like in the morning, you just got to deal with these dumb motherfuckers till the bus comes.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like the ones that's standing there picking their nose in your face. And you're like, do you know I can see you? And it's like, yep.
And you're like, what kind of people?
That jacket.
Ugh.
Yeah. Whose class are you in? Like somebody's class.
Oh, can you imagine having to be their teacher?
No, I could not, because they couldn't be in the same one together. They would definitely have to get split up. Like, it's not going to work. I'm sorry, but it's not going to work. And they're like all trying to be read queens. That's manners. That's logic. Like, you don't know any better. Like, you stupid, dumb girl. Like,
what are you talking about?
Right. How do you do? And shake hands. They had a whole song for it. Like, and don't you ever come back through the woods and not try to introduce yourself the proper way. She's like, I'm just trying to get, did y'all see a rabbit? Did anybody see a rabbit? That's why I'm just trying to get through the day. And before I go home, because I want to make sure that I saw what I actually did. I thought I saw he had a pocket watch. Does anybody remember?
Well, and they're extra frustrated because the rabbit didn't have any time for them.
None.
He was like, I'm late, and now they really want to talk to her really bad.
He was already running late. And you know what? Tweedledee and Tweedledum, being that they just seem to be hanging out in the woods for whatever reason, like they probably see him. Yeah, that's weird that they were sneaking around in the backdrops of everything. Like, dude, you want to come out? Like, who's back there? Like, who's here? I can hear you. Come out, please. And they're just, lurking around. And then they go into this tripped out zone and was like, you want to hear a story about the walrus and the carpenter? And it was like, well, how does this match up? And they're now holding her up. Like, I guess I'll listen to this story. It was the saddest story ever.
Right? It's like borderline traumatizing.
Yeah. Like, what does this have to do with my life right now? For looking for a rabbit? And they're like, yeah, that curiosity might bring you somewhere else. You might be like them oysters. And it's like, you trying to tell me I'm going to get eaten up out here? Looking for a rabbit?
Mm.
That was crazy. And then here's the crazy thing in my brain, and the way my mind works. The walrus, this pompous, fat, bloated, whatever we're gonna call it. He's just a mean guy or animal. And he gets all these baby little oysters away from their mom and stuff. Meanwhile, the carpenter then built this little shack house with a working kitchen on top of that, which you're thinking they're starving, right? But he has enough ingredients for bread and dip like soup broth and stuff. And so the oysters is, this is the meat. But the factor that he got not one, and I felt bad for him, which both of them should burn in hell. But I felt bad, like, dang, this thing then played you. Like, he's like, little oysters, like, no little nothings. They're gone, dude. You took all that time making bread.
That was a lesson about trust, too.
It was. It was. Yeah. And that's, like I said, I remember again as a kid when it got to these two and it got to this point of the storyline. And I was like, ooh, what's going on right here? Because they were taking me somewhere else. And I was like, let's get back to the rabbit. Because you know how they kind of transition in to make one the moon and one the sun, how they had their faces up there. And I was like, oh, I don't like this split screen looking thing. This is weird. They went from night over into daytime. And I was like, I think I should go to the bathroom at this part right here.
Like everything in the movie kind of, but especially these two are kind of like that shit in life that just distracts you from your focus and from your destiny or your path or your intentions.
Right.
It's always stuff in life that's trying to get you off your path, and that's what these guys are.
Yeah, most definitely so. Yeah, definitely. So after that craziness of everything, she's still moseying along and trying to find the white rabbit, but it's just really, again, it's not going well. So she's off onto the next part of the adventures, and she stumbles over into this craziness, which is
yay.
All the flowers, which are people, are like actually people. They're just just little tiger lilies and the dandelions and the white rose and the tulips and everybody. They just got a lot of gossip. And look at the little dilly dally Daisy. Like, she's just got the silliest little face to her. Like, she's like,
and violets.
Yes. Let's talk about the shy. What about the one of the shy violets? Like, they couldn't even get it together on what song they were going to sing, because it was one for every daggone flower that was out there. Yeah. Oh, not that old thing. Like, oh, let's sing about the one. And she's like, no. I'm going to sing Golden Afternoon. It's about all of us. Okay? Everyone gets a little part. That's what we're going to do. And they're like, yeah, Alice is like, cool, sing the song, and they're like, look at their little faces. Like, who would want to pick those? Who would want to pick those? They're just darling. Until they turned on her and got all mean. They're like, yeah, what kind of flower are you? I'm not. They're like, oh, she's one of those oldest in vulgaris somethings. And it's like, what's that? A weed. Like, no, I'm not that either. Like, Alice is like, I know about flowers, but I know I'm not like none of those at all.
And it's like that whole social thing where if you don't know what somebody is, it must be bad. They're like, well, you're not one of us, so you're
exactly. Exactly. Right. So yeah, it was just like, wow, I thought maybe you guys could kind of help me out a little bit. What I would have thought that maybe a rabbit would have ran through here, and you guys could point me in the right direction. But you guys are talking about we don't want weeds in our bed, and y'all are trying to be all racist towards me. And I didn't do anything because I don't know like that I'm invading people's space and little communities around here with the fact that I didn't know that you guys were going to actually be here as real type of people. Like, this is odd to me. But anywho, like, they kicked her out and she was like, that was just ignorant. But she moseys on with her little way, back down the little path she goes. And she's basically, trying to figure, I guess, direction. So she ran into the factor of the house, the factor of finding the rabbit. And he was at his house. He was packing little shit up in his bag and everything. And it was like he still didn't have time for her. He was calling Marianne. Who the hell was Marianne?
I guess it's his housekeeper.
Yeah, I guess so. It's
and like
weird,
now that Alice is really small, because now that Alice is small, he thinks she's his housekeeper for some reason.
Yeah, just sorry. My child just doesn't understand. You can't open doors, when you're doing a show. So it's like we had an understanding of time, and it's like it's not time to ask things. Anyway, as I was driving the bus, as I was saying, yeah, the fact of the
he thought she was Marianne.
Huh?
He thought she was Marianne.
Yeah, but the fuck. So Marianne, like, that's the housekeeper. That's like, again, who's Marianne? And the fact that he looked at her as if she was Marianne, like he's known her all like for a long time.
Yeah.
He doesn't know her.
Maybe in a parallel universe, Alice is his housekeeper.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe she really is. I don't know.
Maybe that's a possibility. Okay. And we don't know that, but see, that was back then in the days. So somebody could have been on a different timeline of thinking of things, of how we think of things now today. Interesting. Dun dun dun. So yes, he leaves her.
He's got all kinds of little snacks and things in his house.
Are those really snacks? What's in that for real? Eat me, take one. All of these little things were labeled very weird in a candy dish on top of that. And that did not do her any justice, because that made her grow through the damn house, kicking her feet and legs out of doors and arms coming out of windows and everything. And who's strolling along? Dodo, who's supposed to be helping, which again, I don't have Dodo because ways that people want me to download things. But anyway, they're like, what are we going to do? So what are they going to do? Well, we see Bill. Bill's walking through, a lizard with a ladder. A lizard with a ladder.
Right? What?
Because it makes sense.
He can scale a wall, right?
and he has a chimney brush, and he's got an Australian accent. I am? Yeah, you sure I can? Like, what are you talking?
I think he's just Cockney English. Like, he's supposed to be some working class guy, and they just treat him like total shit. And this is, again, the Victorian people. It's like they're just treating him like shit because he's poor,
That's possible.
Fight the monster,
Yeah, and pull him out. Pull the monster out. Pull it out. Pull out the monster. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, let me see you do it.
We'll smoke the monster out.
No, when they lost Bill, that was, second option. Bill flew through the chimney, airborne.
She kicked his ass. She said,
poor Bill. Like, yeah, salute to Bill, who's airborne, flying to no return. And then they're like, okay, we got another option. We'll smoke the monster out. They got the rabbit all tweaked up in the song, like, yeah, let's burn my damn house down. Let's smoke the monster out. Yeah, get me some wood and let's rub this shit together out in the little ground area because we don't have a match. And what you get, we'll smoke the and they're taking his stuff out the house, the grandfather clock. They're breaking stuff down, throwing it in, making a big they're gonna make a whole big bonfire and burn his house down to get the monster out.
It does seem like they're trying to show every which way you can be totally off your fucking. It's about madness.
It's all about madness.
So much different ways to be mad.
Dude, to the point that she's like, maybe I just need to eat something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make it a carrot. Shrinks her right on back down to regular size. But people are running late still, which we still don't know where the hell they're going. But then he's out there like, you say, would you happen to have a match? Like, nah, it's me, Marianne. I'm small again.
Yeah.
Let me get out of here. Let me get out of here and keep on running through and around and every which way until we run where? Into this dude who's just out of control and pocket. Dude, the caterpillar who's just in his own zone on his opium, just having a good old time. Yeah, keep your temper. Yeah, keep it down. Like, relax. And he's just smoking and blowing letters out in her face. Like, who are you? Like, this is so weird to see something like you, which it really technically isn't, because the Mad Hatter is the other human that they have in this world, in this area, you know, on the block, you know? So it's like, it shouldn't be odd to see this little girl. You know, you guys are talking to plants and animals like they're real human beings. A March hare, a caterpillar, a bed of flowers, a lizard with a ladder. And you guys are looking at her like, you're the odd one. You don't belong here.
Well, you know, when he asks her, who are you? I think it's like more about like existential shit like that. Like he's getting deeper. He's like, who do you think you are? Do you know yourself? You know, it's like get deep. Because again, in the Victorian age, in school, they weren't taught to like think deep or like question things. It was just like memorize your line, memorize what we're telling you. Like, and he, you know, in her fantasies, this teacher is asking her like deep shit.
Right. And I feel that too, especially because she already was kind of in a sense of a situation with the Tweedledee, Tweedledum type of thing about the whole curiosity of being here and you running through your own rabbit hole of wonder. And sometimes you don't need to push but so far, because again, like I said, it can bring you into things you might not want to be bothered with. And not only that, but to question within, who are you? To, you know, do you feel as though that you're not enough? You don't belong? You know, what are you trying to be?
Right.
You know?
Find your place in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Right. With all these people to be in as a reminder, you know, to you as well, you know, which is also, you know, a bit odd. So, yeah, you know, for him to then turn into a butterfly, but also to let her know, don't forget, take a couple pieces of that mushroom down there, because it's going to help you out. And you want to keep some in your pocket, and because you might need to, you know, might need to grow or shrink again, which is very odd and funny, because it's all about growth as well, in a sense. You know, because she keeps going big. She keeps going too big, or it's too small. It's just never like in the middle, you know, until she figures it out, like after a while. Like
it seems to be about change of perspective, even like when you're tall, things look different than when you're short. It's like about looking at things from different angles, maybe.
Yeah, I
Just
can
the
see
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, again, back to Wizard of Oz slash Alice in Wonderland. And the only thing that, like I say, also different from Wizard of Oz is she doesn't take any friends with her on the journey. It's just meeting all these different people,
Mhm.
in the midst of her still trying to
Makes
not
Labyrinth
even get.
kind of like Labyrinth, kind of a mix of the two in the way.
Yes, yeah. And not even that she's even asked to go home either. Like it was never like, the thing like that's not even on her radar right now. Like I'm not even pressed to go home. Like I don't even like it there. I'm cool over here, but I just need to find this rabbit. So in the midst of all of trying to find rabbits and stuff, she run into this motherfucker right here. This guy
Yeah.
is all in a whole different league of his own. He's on a whole different bat of things. He's crazy. He's a nut. He's a nutty nut. And he's full of riddles. And I
But
think
if
out of
she's
all of
a
everybody,
cat person, so she really won't, she's curious about him because she's a cat. So
yeah, exactly. Especially that he's also just in his own little way of just craziness and madness too, like it's like he's listening but not listening to her. Every little which way he tries to just be disruptive. Can you stand on your head? And he's disappearing and then he's jumping over and then he's coming back and he's just like playing with her mind and then it's like sending her on another goose chase like, well, you can go that way and well, either way, but I'd go that way. Some people go that way. It's just like, oh my God, which way is best to go? But yeah, why don't you go talk to these people having a whole damn tea party?
oh boy.
Maybe that's the way you should go. And go and hang out with these guys because maybe
Here we go.
maybe they could help a bit. And look at the March hair. Like, first of all, she interrupted everything of every which way of where they were going. Their whole party's ruined. But they're like, all right, I guess you can come and sit down. But then the fact that they can't even let her get like 3 sentences out because they're like, yo, we got to move down the table and go get a clean cup of tea. It's like we're not even finishing what y'all done poured in the last cup. And y'all got several cups.
It seems like they're on drugs because they're acting so crazy. And of course, this, even though it came out in 1951, it got popular in the 60s. Really, that's when the movie started getting successful. It's kind of a flop. So developed all this like drug culture kind of association with it, like, and it still is, and that's psychedelic. It's surreal. And we see the eat me, we see that all as drugs, but the fucked up weird thing is it was all actually based on the fact that there was so much poison going around. That's really what it's about, which is okay. Like it kind of reminds me of what's going on in our government now, where the government doesn't care that the food is killing people, and that's what was going on. Is like there would be all this stuff like for babies, take a little bit to help them go to sleep, and it was making the babies deformed and they would die, and like it's like everything was kind of poisonous and they were surrounded by poison. So when she's like, if a bottle is marked poison, like shit like that, and people, what was happening is people were going mad. They were dying, but they were going mad also. Like this shit with the Hatters. I didn't know about this. The Hatters, they were like working with rabbit furs, right? Because the hats were made out of rabbits.
Okay.
So they had to work with mercury, and the mercury vapors were toxic, and they were driving the Hatters mad. And nobody gave a shit. It went on for years and years and years. But there was this story in the newspaper that caught on about this one Hatter who had gone really mad. And he started seeing rabbits in the corners. So this story was heavily based on this story about this guy. And he, yeah, he started seeing rabbits in the corners, and then he just went completely bonkers. And the whole anecdotal thing was that the Hatters, when they went mad, they couldn't even hold a teacup. Like they couldn't hold a teacup straight like they do in the movie, like because they had the jitters. They get the jitters.
Wow.
So and so this tea party thing is kind of about that. And then his best friend, the March Hare, like his hat's made out of that guy. Like that's some sick shit.
And that's crazy.
But he's seeing like
Even
rabbits
more.
in the corners because he's working with these dead rabbits all day, and it's fucking
That's
with him.
out of
you know?
control. Wow. That's crazy. And these two are they're just the best of goddamn friends, you know? And they're like, yep, cut it up. Look at his eyes, man. Everybody's tweaked out, dude. Like everybody's like, yo, like how about a half a cup? Half a cup for me, if you don't mind. Like a half a cup. You got a mouse that needs to be calmed the hell down with jam because he's on other things. He's not even drinking the tea, but he's just, you know, he's out of control as well. But yeah, the factor that even for having him go nuts, you know, because of telling a story about Dinah, the cat, which gave him a crazy run for his money around the table. But to their surprise, here comes the goddamn white rabbit again. And he's running through, but now he wants to stop by like they're a watch shop. And it's something wrong with the watch. So they're like, yeah, let's take a look at it. They beat the shit out of this watch. Okay. Like they open it up, they put all kinds of unnecessary nonsense things inside, jam, lemon juice, butter, like all these things, and broke it. Oh, well, let's not be silly.
Oh, mustard.
No mustard. But you know, yeah, lemon, it's what we need. Lemon.
Yeah,
yes.
that's better.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. But it was 2 days slow. That's what it was. It was only 2 days slow. And they came to find out, and it was an Unbirthday watch. And then they were like, wow, I didn't know that. And then they kicked his ass out. Remember, they threw him over the freaking fence. Like, you're already late anyway. Let me help you get there. And then she's like, this is just the craziest place I've ever been in the tea. I really kind of want to go home, you know? And this is where it's all a problem, because she usually gives very good advice, but she very seldom follows her own stuff. Like it's
that was
just
bad.
Some
deep stuff. When we were kids, that was very deep.
It was. And this whole scene, the moon rafts, the bird swallowing its children back inside the cage. The horns, like the horns for the ducks, the little quack ducks, those were little horns. We had like bike horns like that. And the guys with the shovels on their face, like this was out of control, man. This was different. It was really different. But then here we go again, because as she's sitting there trying to figure out, he's like, well, I got a way you can kind of get up out of here. You gotta go talk to the queen though. And yeah, she's like, the queen.
Great.
Yeah. It's like you have to go do that, because see, if you don't, you're never gonna get up out of here. And I'm not. And I mean, you're gonna be stuck for a while. So he hits with the shortcut, you know, and she goes through, and that's when she sees the cards, a pack of playing cards, painting roses red because they accidentally painted the ones that were white. And that wasn't good. But she had them for the fact that she took their heads for it, because that's not what they weren't supposed to be doing. Weren't supposed to be doing that. But she knew of this little girl, and she recognized her as a little girl. But it's the queen. And the queen, you have to do what the queen says. It's her way. Curtsy, smile, mouth wider, and always say, yes, your majesty. Yes. And let's play a game of croquet to see if you can get up out of here, because it's going to be the way that you're going to have to try to get out of here. But we found out the white rabbit works for her.
Mm. And he
He's
doesn't want to
been
be late.
running,
He doesn't want to lose his head, basically.
doesn't want to lose his head, you guys, because then he would have been in a stew. And that's what he said. I'm really in a stew. I'm really in a stew. If he didn't make it there, he would have been in that stew, literally done. And they would have did that. And he got there just in the nick of time so he could blow that trumpet and introduce her. And she came out and she basically was so ignorant to her own damn husband and the king. And it was like he had no respect whatsoever. Like she gave him nothing. But these were like her soldiers, though. And I mean, seriously, like the whole pack of cards, just, rallying around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack. It was like amazing. But yeah, it
And these
basically
graphics
again,
are cool. Like, how cool is this graphic? Like, the animators they had a lot of fun with this,
yeah,
Such
definitely did.
such visual interest.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And it was like I said, it just gave even more of the highlight for the show. It's, the movie itself for me. Just where you thought it couldn't get any more interesting and kind of like bizarre, it goes here. But then they put her on trial because of the fact that, again, it's like she's just can't win. She can't win for losing. So they bring her into court. And all within the factor of court because of why? For what reason? For being somewhere that what she wasn't supposed to be? Like this is not her world. Like how dare she want to go home? Like she's had enough here. Like everybody's trying to go against her. The freaking people, within the court or the jury taking notes. Twinkle, 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 twinkle. Nothing was. It was all nuts and crazy. And of course,
it's actually another social commentary because at this time, the common people didn't get fair trials. That was really like, yeah, and he was just like making a statement about that because the aristocracy would always get off with just literally a hand for murder, whereas when poor people would literally steal a loaf of bread, they'd end up in prison and then they would just die of disease.
Wow.
So, this is a light way of being like, yeah, but this is how it actually went. It's not really that far off of the current reality.
Right.
And right now, we're hoping it doesn't go there. I don't think it will, but they're trying.
No. Right. But anyway, she makes it through and runs away and circles back around through where she came from to get in there from the first place, back where Dodo, the running around the fire, it brings her back in through the door and out of there to wake up to just know that she was sleeping. And that, brings it full circle, and I think at that point from just that dream, that nap alone, which brings her back to reality, it's just like, yeah, it's all good to dream, but it's also great to come back and to understand what is basically real versus what isn't. And to, again, imagine, but also to make sure that you keep at a certain boundary with how you tend to look at certain things or wanting to change things that really doesn't need to be messed with in the first place. So, she learned the lesson, and she did, from trying to learn her lesson that her sister was trying to give her in the first place, which was boring to her. But I bet you from that, it also helped her to get more pizzazz in life, as she pretty much probably grew older, that just also had that experience from that dream as well. So.
And what I kind of take to is kind of like the idea that stuff in your imagination and in your dreams is just as valid as reality. That like a combination of the two. Like you're supposed, like you should bring your imagination into your reality, I think is the suggestion.
Right. Yeah.
That combining the two is where true living and evolving and living your dreams is. That just, you don't want to be too far in one or the other,
Exactly. But yeah, so I definitely, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Definitely want to bring this before, we wrapped. So this is our last episode for our season. We're going to go on a break and then we'll be back. So just be, mindful to subscribe to the channel. And so therefore, when we are in any content that drops over here, you guys can be alerted to it. And definitely wanted to wrap it as one of my all-time favorites. And again, it's celebrating my unbirthday, but my birthday, which will be coming up in the next 2 weeks. So Labor Day, make sure to think about me. And definitely come over and see me on September 10th, where I'll have K Renee Conversations After Dark for season 2, if that's your thing. But other than that, we're glad you guys made it back with us for our season. And hopefully you'll join us again. If you missed anything, any other content from episodes we dropped already, make sure to go back and check them out. And don't be shy. Drop your little emojis, little comments, thumbs up, likes, share it, with others. And, maybe next time you guys can take a ride a little bit more with us and chime in and give us some of your feedback and letting us know, is this a movie that was a favorite of yours or still is? You've never seen it. Now, you may want to definitely check it out after we broke it down, especially for our favorite scenes and just, some of our good old classics, so yeah, definitely make sure you join us back. I'm K Renee, and that is Amanda A, the cupcake. Yes. All right, you guys. So have a great day. Fall season comes in, so enjoy that. And we will see you all again in the near future. And definitely just stay up to beat and up to date with the channel. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.